The French invasion of America was fought on two fronts yesterday. An attack by Wolves was repelled by the Sonics, but BDS launched an attack against Space Station and was extremely effective. But now they find themselves meeting an unlikely opponent in the second round, the decimators of the dynasty, the blockers of the Brazilians, Geekay Esports. No doubt they will be given underdog status yet again today, but it's going to make for a damn good matchup nonetheless. I'm Jacob, I'm here with Fresh and Jesse as we talk through BDS and the MENA team that could, Geekay Esports.
Yeah, Geekay, I think, surprising everybody yesterday, taking out the reigning major champions W7M. They did it in style, too. Really strong performance on a map that W7M should have been extremely favored on. Instead, Geekay came out. They showed us exactly what they're made of. We saw big plays from guys like Hasham, from guys like Key. Really impressive stuff, and I'm hoping to see more today.
I just think Jesse's an EU hater because he definitely did not mention Noodle or Leader there.
Well,
who were also two of the best players for
they were
Geekay.
good too.
Everybody was great. They were absolutely spot on. It almost feels like an EU versus EU matchup in my mind because I know that Geekay are very big scrim partners with a lot of European teams and they've got a big European influence. So for me, I feel right at home.
I would say it's basically BDS versus old Koi, right?
Kind of.
For the most
in
part.
a way.
Yeah. You get some substitutions for a couple of the Middle Eastern players and so suddenly it all forms into one Frankenstein's monster of a team. That did knock off the current major champions. So start with them. How big of a moment is that for Geekay?
Oh, it was absolutely huge. I think, you know, these guys have got a lot of confidence. They're the most informed team in the world, bar none. They have not lost a game in an official Blast competition in Stage 2 at all. Every other team in the world, literally every other team in the world has not got that accolade.
So wait, no, they're undefeated since August, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even in Stage 1, they lost one game officially in competition.
To Falcons. In OT.
Exactly.
Holy crap, is this the winningest team we've ever seen?
Yeah, I think they have to be.
Holy crap. No, that's just something I didn't consider. The one thing that they are, as a result of beating W7M, is the furthest advancing MENA team in a major competition ever, because Falcons, when they made it to Swiss, they didn't win a single series. So this is the furthest we've ever seen a group of guys like this ever go, which is super impressive just by itself.
Yeah, and, you know, they've got another tough opponent against them, right? They played the team that was almost world champions yesterday. They played the current, team that were the major champions from Stage 3 last time today. It's going to be tough for them coming through. Obviously, BDS as well, a lot to play for, right? We see this boundary SI status. BDS really hunting for that top 8. If they can make that happen, they'll be at the 6th Invitational more likely than not. So they've got a lot to play for. They're not going to come out without swinging against Geekay.
As a European, it's absolutely awful to watch this because if BDS get to the top 8, they get to the quarterfinals, they get 6th Invitational, but if they don't and Lost don't, then it's M&M. So for me, I'm kind of just like, at least just one of them, but I don't want to choose which.
I would say you might want to root for your countrymen or your region men at some point, but right now M&M are GK's biggest fans because whatever they can do to qualify for SI, because their fate is no longer in their hands, they really kind of have to do it at this exact moment. So let's start with BDS and what they can do. Because we'll talk a big game about GK for obvious reasons, but for BDS specifically, these guys are the expected powerhouse and are still the favorites in this matchup, and from what they did yesterday, they're definitely back in a big way.
Yeah, they were really good. They took out Space Station yesterday with some really fantastic plays coming through. We saw them really dominated in the early round. We saw some good plays coming through from Shaiko and Lickyfac. I actually thought the droning was really impressive. Some big stats coming through from BDS. Yesterday, they had an insanely good 78% entry. That's 100% on defense. 4 to 6 rounds, they found the opening pick on attack. They converted 86% of those opening picks that they got. They were extremely efficient at finding those. And obviously, you're going to credit Shaiko. Obviously, you're going to credit Lickyfac. But I really want to credit Bride because his drones enabled so many of those opening picks. He really opened up and gave the information to BDS. If there was an extended roam, they knew about it. If there wasn't, they knew about it, and they took that ground so quickly. I think BDS's drone into entry play has been fantastic so far in the tournament, and I'm excited to see what they do today as well.
There's one big criticism of BDS, which is reliance on Shaiko, right? And I think BDS have been aware of that and have just made a very, very small change in terms of the way that they want to play this tournament. From what I saw yesterday, is that Lickyfac's trying to play that second entry. Lickyfac has been known to be one of the best lurkers. You know, when he came in, when they won the Intrapig Major, he was doing it very often by lurking and playing off the back of Shaiko's plays. Lickyfac is now, he got found out a little bit in, EUL Stage 1. So now he's trying to be that second entry alongside Shaiko to try and make themselves like a dynamic duo. And it's a very small and intricate change, but it shows if they're getting better entries and they're converting it better, that this whole team has made that change to address that weakness.
My only question is, how accurate of a sentiment is that going to be for Leak Effect? Because when they played Space Station, that puppy was over before it really had a chance to get going. So do you think that's going to be a super consistent
I think it'll be consistent, and I think he can say through the operator selection, because we saw Leak Effect play a lot of Finker yesterday.
Yep.
Whereas, it was always Shaiko on Ayana. Now, obviously, the nade changes have come in that affects that, but Shaiko will remain on a comfortable operator. Played a bit of Nomad, the gun that he likes, and then Leak Effect will take up that aggressor position, especially with those grenades.
Yeah, and I think also we have BDS. They've only played one game so far. It was against Space Station. SSG is a team that likes to fight you in the early rounds. They're going to make those rounds happen quickly. And I think GK as well, they're not exactly the same style as SSG. SSG, there's no team in the world who's got the same style as SSG.
True.
But GK will fight you early. They're willing to go aggressive on defense, even when a lot of teams might go for anchor plays on basement defense, bomb sites. Really, GK do love their roams, and they're quite coordinated with it. So if BDS were doing a good job winning in the early round against Space Station, there's a good chance to come out, and again, they're going to be strong in that area against GK.
All right, well, let's talk maps real quick between these guys, because I think for GK, there's plenty of maps in their pool, because, yeah, they've been undefeated. They've been able to get a whole bunch of practice in their region, not too much internationally, but again, they've yet to drop one, so you got to find a way to knock off the unbeaten beasts, and apparently the answer is letting Nighthaven slip all the way down.
Yeah, so Nighthaven's a really curious one for me, because basically yesterday when GK played, I said, I don't know about them taking W7M to W7M's favorite map, and they knocked them off it. Now, Nighthaven is BDS's #1 map preference. They love it. They battered Heroic on it in EUL. They absolutely had the floor with them. And GK have gone, do you know what? Big show of confidence. We'll do W7M on their best map. Now we've got BDS on theirs, and we'll do them again.
And we've praised GK on their map pool in the past. They've played a ton of maps, 7 maps so far throughout Stage 2. This will be their 8th. They've never played Nighthaven Labs in official competition or in unofficial competition. BDS undefeated through 1 match so far. They took out Heroic early on in the EUL stage. Every single team in Europe banned this map against BDS after that game.
I think that's it. We don't really have much else I want to say. I just want to see whether GK can get any of that magic from yesterday going into this game against BDS. Is it going to be 2 straight ego challenges, I think, for GK to get this one done? Or is BDS finally about to give them a reality check? And we're going to get the Americans in here. Samuel Stokes-Stewart and Carter Link Sandefeld. It's good to see you, boys.
Well, I'll tell you this, after the fun showing we saw from GK in Group A, and the disappointment, we saw Crest, unfortunately, 2 underdog stories, one of which fell, but GK, after ego challenging W7M on Clubhouse yesterday, won, and they've decided to ego challenge BDS on a map that no other EUL team, even some of the best in Europe, wanted to challenge them on.
Yeah, very interesting prospect that we have on our hands here, because, as you were saying, BDS, a team that inside their own region, they played this map a single time up against Heroic and stomped them. It was not even close. 7-2, 7-3, ridiculous scoreline for them. But now we're here. GK up against BDS on a map that GK hasn't even touched. They didn't even have to try and delve into this well at all during their own region, and they haven't even had to look towards it for play-ins or the Swiss stage just yet. I think that we have a heck of a game on our hands. I'm hoping so for GK's sake, because they've been representing so hard for MENA, and I don't want it to stop now.
But for GK, if they can win this map, as Jesse mentioned, combining the MENA stats and the Atlanta stats, they're 10-0 so far, inside of just maps won in Stage 2, regional and international competition. But that's with playing a lot of the maps. 7 maps played, all across the board. And they haven't touched Nighthaven. If they come out after their victory against W7M today and not just beat BDS on their best map, but beat BDS on Nighthaven, we might have a MENA team where this is their first international event who have an 8 or 9 map pool. I mean, listen, you've been around a long time. You're in tune with Siege history. I would dare say that's unprecedented for a team of this level, of this newness, the international stage. If they can win this here, GK might be the #1 most feared team at the tournament afterwards.
Yeah, this for me, this eclipses even like the Mantis FPS run in 2019, where we got to see what South Korea had to offer at that time. But nowadays things have changed up. There for quite some time, it was really just a battle of the three bigs, right? North America, Brazil, as well as Europe. There's nothing really happening outside of those 3 regions, but now we have some incredible talent across the entirety of every single region. It's so very cool that we're at this point where you can go look at Japan, see a team like Crest. You go to MENA, you see teams like Falcons and GK. It's just such a cool thing, in the modern day of Siege. But Hey, here we go. BDS versus GK. Got the bans through. A lot of normal things, but then we have Sledge as that very starter ban. That was banned out by GK. How are you feeling about this? How does this work into the strategy of this map?
So the Sledge is surprising, at least for one facet, because that's an operator Key has been playing quite a bit of, and him and Hasham have really been the big standout performers, I would say, on GK so far this tournament, specifically when it comes to 1vx's. On attack and defense, Key, when he won 2 or 3 1vx's against NIP all the way back in plans, a couple of them were on Sledge, that comfort operator. But of course, by taking off the Sledge, you're restricting the amount of soft breach the attack has to offer. It's also sometimes an operator players like Renshiro like to play as well. So there is logic to it, and it now means that operators like Buck, like Ram, need to be played by BDS if they want to go for that soft destruction. And what do you know? Assuming he can change it, LickyFac might just pick the Ram going into this action phase. But for the defensive bans as well, Fenrir, Azami, not too uncommon, but the Dokkaebi ban from BDS is interesting because this map relies a lot on full clears, so that's hampering their attacks to start, but their drones were excellent against SSG yesterday, and this is a tool that Trixt makes great use of. They're denying it to him while still keeping strength in their droning. They don't need the Dokkaebi to win.
They're going to have to try and flex those muscles here again today because, as you said, this is a map where, you know, you really want to be able to clear things out and try and use the full breadth of things, but it also makes it to where the defense can have a very solid roam game. You know, it's not something like a Chalet where you can get cut off very easily. There's a lot of, you know, very centralized rooms to kind of mess around with. Hasham is still here, and that is going to be the second Boogie drone gone. And he's back also not babying the window either, so he's not actually going to really get anything out of this situation. And that's a huge stop here from GK. And again, showing the muscles of this roam and what you have to try and clear.
And a bit of a waste of utility right there. Key, oh no, does not go down. Huge pickup by Hasham. BDS damaging Key repeatedly, end up taking him down, but GK get away with that trade. And unfortunately, we've lost that C4 from Key, but you've also lost the flashbangs, the intel gathering from Alems. But honestly, on a map that takes so long to clear, that you need to have all your pieces intact, GK are denying so much map control from BDS to acquire. 4v3 now established, and one of our big concerns was, will BDS just run roughshot over these roamers with player like Shaiko and Alems? GK have come to play.
Attackers recovered.
This was the big prospect when we were looking at this game, right, Lynx? Looking at Shaiko, looking at people like Brede, Alems, seeing what they can do up against a team that has so much talent, especially mechanically. They've been playing off of each other so well, and Hasham, he's going to get away with this one too. Takes down Renshiro. EFAC a nice pickup, but he's battling back, and EFAC, you have nothing in your hands, son. A triple for Hasham, and he'll finally go down, but there's 3 more bodies for Shaiko to find. It'd be a masterclass here inside the first round already from him, but GK showing just what this map is capable of, especially with a more aggressive roam, forcing BDS to clear map control, and Shaiko's just gonna run in. There's really nothing there for him. No drone work to be had. Just has to try and get something going, but a perfect defense here from GK, all things considered. Absolutely love the pressure that we saw upstairs, especially out of Hasham. That initial interaction with EFAC was so awkward for EFAC. He did not know what was happening to that Boogie drone at all. They were really not committed to their drones, and honestly, I really love that we pointed out how good their drone game has been because it was lacking so hard in that round, Carter.
And so to start on the first round in the drone game, specifically on clearing out Hasham on the top floor, Trixt as well to a lesser extent up top, but Hasham saw the most action, 3K in round 1. Really not much done by BDS to deal with him. And maybe that's a little bit of first round nerves. Okay, we're going to make some mistakes early on in the game because it was incredible against SSG yesterday on Skyscraper, a map that's very difficult to attack and necessitates the attack to be clinical on their clears if they want to get a huge amount of rounds in that half. Nighthaven's very similar, not necessarily in structure, but in that you need to have that drone game on point. So big mistakes from BDS in round 1. They let GK, who, if you give them engagements, Hasham will win them. He has been the big defensive player so far inside of phase 2, albeit only after the first map yesterday. But if you give him that space to roam, he's not just going to do nothing with it.
No, he's confident. He's confident in it. You know what I mean? Like, he's not trying to play too safe. He's playing things how he normally would go about it, and it's working extremely well for him. You know, that pressure around the window was extremely impressive indeed. So EFAC, after that initial round, not starting off too strongly. See if they... Oh! Wow. What a find there from Noodle. An insane cover. They read that back and forth.
I mean, that's just...
The communication is insane. That was such a solid read. They hear that window break, immediately make the adjustment over towards Garage Carter. That's what you want to see out of team play right there.
That's the team play you want to see from people who actually can make a deep run, who aren't just getting fluke rounds here and there. We see Trickst realize that LeakyFact hops in the window, and he doesn't peek. He plays it patiently, letting Noodle get in position. And also, we're seeing Geekay outfrag BDS in key moments. Shaiko, the next one to fall. No trade from BDS. It's a 5v3 now, and the other big point we've seen from Geekay, they don't get too over-aggressive. They are able to recognize when they have these man advantages and they fall off. They then play the bomb site, play the setup, and what do you see when that thermite opens? Somebody immediately hops back into the bomb site and they play the angles inside of it. GK are not letting this advantage slip away right now.
No, it's like when you and I were talking to Leader about this, he's just able to provide that cadence, right? Everybody has this amazing mechanical gun skill and a really good understanding of the game of Rainbow Six Siege, but with Leader in here, he's able to just put the collar on him in a certain way to make it to where it is so difficult to get rounds back like this, especially when you're lacking a player like Shaiko. It just feels aimless. I mean, where do you go with this? Especially after losing those two, you're going to lose Renshiro here too. The drone economy is practically out the window because Lems has to stay gun up. You're really just going to hope for maybe Shaiko to sit on like a flank drone or something like that and find something. Yeah, Leader's going to over-address this a bit, but we can kind of flirt with this back and forth. And yeah, I'm gonna sit in the same boat with you. This is exactly where we kind of want to pump the brakes.
Yeah, this is that GK definitely starting to get a bit over aggressive, letting their youth, their passion drive their play. Leader and Trickst both taking some 1v1s with the Lems with a nice angle over that reinforcement, and will pay for it. And another player playing close on connector. Lems and Bride, what a fearsome duo to work this 2v5 down to a 2v3. They flash off the electrical position. Bride now pushed on in. He's got a hole right next to this mirror window. This is not winnable for BDS, but so long as GK don't start swinging these angles. But Hasham is now giving opening after opening for BDS to exploit. Bride will just hold close on the mirror window as long as he needs. 19 seconds is an eternity if the defense keeps giving you damage after damage. Two different players now from GK, low HP. Flash goes on in. They've got intel on the player close on the wall. Bride cannot win the engagement. Good pickup from Hasham. Good pickup by Lems. But the second round comes forth for GK, but definitely making it harder than it needed to be.
A little overzealous at certain moments, but they were able to allow the cooler heads to prevail there near the tail end. A little risky there, but obviously that Mav torch can be very, very quiet, so more than likely had no idea that was even there in the first place and kind of got caught off guard, but you could see their immediate reaction, and that's what we really want to highlight is their ability to slow things down and force the offense into the site. You don't want to overswing things and just give bodies over for no reason. And now a lot of considerations to be had for BDS, and you know, I know we're only through 2 rounds on their offensive side so far, but you're already seeing the really big gaps in that Dokkaebi ban.
At the end of the day, if you are going to ban that Dokkaebi on Nighthaven, it's such a big map that there often will just be gaps that even teams that are excellent at droning, you might just miss. And BDS, they will keep a lot of those gaps closed. They won't necessarily give players the opportunity to go for those picks. But when you have a map that's so large, have a map that needs so much to done, or so much to be done to be clear, sometimes it's just going to happen. And in a best of one especially, when this is the only map you've got to play, those are going to punish you that much more. This being the first map of best of 3, let's say GK win it, but then we have a smaller map like Chalet afterwards. BDS could completely shore up that mistake, but when this is the one map you're playing, you need to make sure that it's on point, and that Dokkaebi ban seems to be hurting them a little bit.
Yeah, the clear is feeling awkward, but I think it's mostly feeling awkward because they're very spread across the map right now. And that's all well and good, but when you start losing bodies left and right and there's nobody, you know, there's no shoulder to cry on, there's nobody there to try and come back and hold this back across the line, things get really volatile very quickly, especially on a map like this, because it requires so much heavy lifting. You need bodies, you need guns. So, to see if BDS can try and fix this up. They're already going to break glass in case of emergency, slapping Breed on the Monty here.
And there is one player directly next to him as well. Look at this from BDS, a lot closer together. Renshiro and Lems next to each other. Brady and, I was about to say LeakyFact next to each other, but he's able to take one down. Brady actually with Shaiko, but Brady also almost 1 foot into the grave. 4v4, Shaiko with the wraparound, but Key still somehow with the pistol kill. Shaiko might just find one, but GK on this roam have certainly damaged BDS to a scary extent. Shaiko now alone inside the building as Lems and Renshiro have been on this balcony the entire round up until this point. And it's not an advantage like GK had in the last round, but there's still one player on the roam.
just the body language in that interaction that we saw. You can see that BDS is already kind of...
They're nervous.
Yeah, they're worried about how this is going to go, man. You can definitely tell, especially with that interaction with Bride and that Monty, just getting a little over-aggressive when Shaiko is actually just right within the same vicinity. You guys can handle that together, probably keep the shield up. But, I mean, hey, at least it got into the 3 versus 3. So we'll see what they can do from here. Potential springboard to pick up their first round, but it's going to be a tall ask. Kashom has been gunning for this team so far, but he's going to go down to a Lems as they play patiently. The kitchen site, not all that great, to be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of it, and this is really why. The clear is not all that difficult. You get these walls open, you play things out patiently, and things can most definitely go your way. Great call there from BDS to slow things down and see what the response was going to be from Geekay.
And how they almost won that previous round, round 2, where Lems is just sitting there picking off people as they peek him. That's way easier on a site like Kitchen, because as you said, once you open up that wall, it sees the entirety of the bomb sites. It's completely free. That's why they brought the OSA as well, because let's say it's a 5v5 or 4v4 different round, they'll move in, place the talent shield. They've got someone who can plant the bomb and an attacker or 2 attackers behind her that can just cut off anybody that tries to rotate up, C4, smoke, kill, or whatever.
I mean, what do you need on that site, right?
Exactly.
You need meeting upstairs and you need lobby. That's it. That's literally it.
And ultimately what happened was, even though it was a 3v3, BDS were able to take down most of the roams, save for one Solus up top. So once that fell, it's so easy to push in.
Yeah.
Big problem with the bomb side, as you said.
Yeah, and definitely one that in a perfect world, I wouldn't see any professional team go to.
Yes,
but,
I agree.
Hey, it is what it is. You know, people got to try things out and see what's going on. And if it works for them, then it's working for us, as I always say.
10 seconds left.
So, GK, you're going to try and shift gears and go back downstairs. This is the fantastic roam that we saw them start off with, but that also begs a BDS response. They knew what they did wrong last time. It really started off with EFAC having some issues trying to break up some flooring over inside of barrels, but it was quickly handled as GK was able to get some nice kills under their belt. BDS looking to try and right the ship here, get the wind in their sails, and try and tie things up on this offense.
Keeping the momentum low for GK, making sure they're fighting for every single round that what needs to happen when you're fighting an underdog team. Once they feel that chance and luck, fate is on their side, that's when scary, scary plays start to happen. They find Trickst on this top floor, who is left undealt with for a good majority of the round. Also spot another roamer, the Valkyrie playing on the middle floor. Noodle and Trickst both spotted by the defense, but Lems just begins to creep in. Not a lot of presence on the site. In fact, no one inside of tank. Great read from Lems and the rest of BDS. Will they find the Legion? There's one watching the doorway. Oh, but a key victory by a leader. It was an opportunity recognized by BDS, but one now unrealized thanks to the Legion.
Why are we inactive on this side of the map, though, BDS? We're going to have Lems push all the way forward and make a deep lunge, but nobody is there. Shaiko's not even there to try and assist him.
They've recovered.
Not exactly the best situation that they put themselves in, because they've especially kind of given up the goods in a way. They know exactly where the strategy is going to be coming from. Brady is going to go down. Shaiko's able to move in. He might be able to get this kill on the stairwell. Nice angle find there as he'll take down Key, but they're still stuck inside of Animus. They have to try and get out into tank and get this plant down, but GK more than likely have a response lined up.
One of them was the mute walking down the cargo stairs, but now Shaiko's found that they have control of tank, at least directly inside of the bomb site, but there are players up above. That's Solus, the Valkyrie that we saw, the BDS drone at the beginning, who've moved down to the middle floor now, or at least are in close proximity to a rotation down to it, who are forcing this vertical control to be a fight for BDS to take. Leaky Fax now hopped in. Nobody, again, directly around him, but it's that passive threat, that phantom pressure GK are applying, now taken form by a C4 from a Shom. Shaiko just barely spotting another one. No gunfight just yet. 2 players inside the site, 2 on the roam, but still no ground gain for BDS.
And Shiro, he's gotten in behind tank, and this is where things get serious now. They've got EFAC up top. It's a pseudo-fragger. He's already done his job. Nobody needs assistance with that. The bomb will go down. It's 2 to find. Shaiko will be able to pick up at least one. EFAC with one of his own as he flanks down low.
Reset.
Shaiko knows he has one on the hatch. Good coverage here as he will be inside of Annis, but at the back end, and Trix with a hell of a shot will shut down the French powerhouse.
GK are just winning so many of these fights. I mean, right there, that was a 1v1 given to Shaiko. If they lose that 1v1, we're sitting here saying, oh, why would he peek him by himself? There's nobody to play his trade. The defense has to react in time, and hey, maybe that happens. But still, the fact that they're able to win these fights, the GK are going frag for frag, player for player, with a team like BDS, who won a major a year ago.
Yep.
Major champions. They might have had a bad stage last time, but they've come to play as the runner-ups of EUL this time, and GK are meeting them wherever those players want to enter the map.
Oh, Carter, they're making them sweat right now.
They are.
The fact that we saw Alems lunge so deeply without any assistance from the rest of BDS doesn't even seem like a BDS thing to do to me. Like, the fact that Shaiko is actually downstairs and just not active in that same moment is so very awkward. And that's where you lead to these coin flip gunfights where if leader's got the right angle, you just give up a body and there's no one there to do anything with it. And that's what leads to Shaiko standing in tank for 2 minutes.
Yes. But a key point about leader winning that gunfight, something that Jesse brought up on the desk, is that BDS had a ridiculous entry conversion rate, you know, getting it, I think, like 86% of the time and converting it 78% of the time. I mean, absurd stuff, especially on the defense. Want to know how GK have been countering that? They've just been killing them quicker. They've just been getting the opening pick more often. I mean, 4 rounds now. It seems like GK are constantly the ones setting the pace. Maybe he gets traded out, even on that kitchen round. GK started immediately traded back. But this is also what I'm saying. How do we take away the conversion chance that BDS have? We set up a shield with ADSs right there, and we take the fight to them. Now, that's a very risky position, don't get me wrong. If they commit to it too hard, I could easily see a team as coordinated as BDS just nading them.
Yeah.
But still, that indicates the mindset GK are playing with.
And you can see why it's putting BDS on their heels. You know what I mean? Because this is something that BDS isn't exactly used to. They're used to everybody having that fear instilled in them before the game even starts. Like, oh, I'm playing against Shaiko. Oh, I'm playing against, you know, EFAC. I'm playing against Alems. And BDS has been such a solid team for so very long. I think this is one of those situations where GK just really have something to prove, and they really do not care who is across from them. And that's just fantastic to see. So we'll see if they can continue on this tear. These defenses have looked very solid. Even the round that BDS picked up, it was a kitchen defense.
It was, but one that also GK worked to a 3v3, and then BDS had to work with minimal resources. It was still one where GK, a very active force in this round. BDS, minute 15 in, trying to gain some activity, struggling to open the IT breach at the moment, but they were so focused on that shield. The burn comes in, they destroy it. Now they feel a lot more comfortable to open up this wall. So nobody playing it, but again, it's the phantom pressure. They don't open it. They're not playing the shield whatsoever. It's just meant to scare BDS and waste 10, 15 seconds here or there.
And it did even more than that. That's half the round there. And yeah, they've gotten some bodies in. Shaiko's in up top, but he's very low right now. I think it was a nitro cell or something of the sort. Don't exactly know what happened through there, but either way, he ended up going down due to it. No nitro cells lacking in the pockets of the defense, so genuinely don't really know what happened there. Might have done it to himself with a frag grenade. Who really knows? But either way, though, some drones rolling in now for server. Hashom will be here with leader in tow. They've got an IT breach open at a bare minimum, so pressure needs to start boiling up here, but they're going to need Shaiko's assistance. He's right on the door, but remember, he is on low HP.
One thing to consider, though, Trixt, while Hashom's getting a fight inside of the site, GK do have a player hitting the flank on the back side, but it's a 4v3 right now. Effective 4v2 on the bomb site as it's just Leader and Hashom playing inside the CC position. BDS have flooded in through garage and have taken fervent control of half of the site. But can these 3 defenders, now mount some more pressure? More flashes send him on in. BDS rotating behind the A-bomb. Big pickup from Alems. All of GK stuck on this part of the bomb site with Shiro cutting it in half. Looking the wrong way. Leader doesn't pick it up, but the bomb goes down now. Alems, a huge kill to find. Leader now has to find 2 more. Intel on 1. There's another playing on the other side. He has to win this isolated one, but the crossfire from BDS is too strong. That is the BDS round we needed to see.
That's the BDS that we're used to seeing right there. The decision-making to keep the bodies over on the garage side and exploit, you know, the command center side of the bomb site. They have Shaiko and everybody kind of built up around IT as well as server/gen, but that's really what convinces GK of that position. You're like, oh, Shaiko's trying to enter from this side. They're going to want to try and take the IT breach, swing in towards leader. Not the case at all. They smoke the door, they plant on the backside and force them to retake the site. Masterfully done from BDS, and a good wake-up call in the moment to keep this scoreline palatable.
I literally sacrificed Shaiko just to gain a better position. I mean, that's chess at its finest right there.
Oh, it's my queen. Take it. Oh, wait, you lost the game.
Just a huge rotation from BDS, and if we see another round like that as GK are trying the second floor bomb site a second time, it might just get this. But another thing I was talking about with Jesse, GK have a crazy recovery rate when it comes to lost bomb sites. I don't remember the exact number, but it's in the 80%. of when they lose a bomb site, they're able to recover. Now, obviously, small sample size. They've only played 3 rounds in Atlanta so far, but GK are a team that knows the mistakes they make and know how to recover. And right there, if they recognize as well that they were having Trickst flank up the lobby stairs to retake Gen, but then suddenly BDS just rotate to the other side, they've proven they won't make that mistake again.
I think we're going to have Noodle in the roam down here, too, on the Solus. I really like this. I really like this pick. You and I talk back and forth about this all the time. I think she's a little busted just because she is such a detriment to the drone economy. But I digress. She is really, really solid when it comes to the roam game, not only because she has that impact, but she also is able to, like I was saying, get rid of all those drones and really open up the field for her own rotations. And any time that you can kind of be self-serving in that way with any operator, you're more than likely going to see a line up with something like that. It reminds you of like the old Pulse plays, that kind of thing. So fantastic stuff. We'll see if Noodle be able to exploit this to its fullest ability.
One thing you do have to be careful, though, is Solus often is playing in those solo positions, and BDS, if they do recognize that Noodle's too far away from the rest of the defense, send Shaiko, send someone to play his trade, just to move down there, take out that solo roamer, go back to the rest of the take with a man advantage, while Brita is opening the wall at the moment. Connector wall already opened up as BDS want to make use of this Mav. Thatcher's on the board, they don't care. Thermite's on the board, they don't care. Brita has really focused on the Mav for these upstairs defenses, while Thermite has been reserved for the other bomb sites they've played on this map. Still a 5v5, and now that he's rotated over to the IT breach, seems like we're on a similar pace to the previous attack.
Yeah, most definitely. Actually, exactly in timing as well. A minute 35 right now as he's opening this breach. They got it open at about a minute 26 the last time. Gonna get some soft destruction over here to open up both of these walls respectively. But all this has done is kept things very quiet and allowed Shaiko especially to start working the map, work things forward, see if anybody wants to try and respond in a certain way. He's going to play patiently here for quite some time. This is probably going to build up like we saw on the previous round, where they'll try and pull pressure and then bring it back across the line, more than likely with like a back hit or something like that.
But Noodle's also rotated into the bomb site now. Was on the roam at the beginning, but now is in the site to spot those drones if they're going for a different side, to figure out, all right, are BDS baiting us with this push, or is it where they're actually pushing from? Trickst is now the only one playing off-site, and Shaiko's worried about it, worried about someone flanking up those lobby stairs. BDS taking a lot of time to get all their ducks in a row. Maybe just too long. Key finds one. A second player takes that fight, but Alem somehow trades it out. Secures control of Aqua Stairs, while Renshiro cuts down Noodle in the site. Intel for the defense, now a little bit lacking in control for BDS. In quite a large supply. They have moved into Connector, moved into Electrical. Alems has the Aqua side as well. Oh, but Leader shuts it down. GK can now focus all entirely on the IT and the Connector push. Hashom with a messy engagement gives GK the advantage they need. They can play trade up the remaining defenders. C4 flies out, but it goes out the window. The lineup's actually a little too good, and the angle's a little too poor. Renshiro recovers, cuts down Hashom, flashes go in, but blind Renshiro, so he's got to take cover. That's a key amount of seconds now wasted. He's the only one covering, but he's got a line directly on the doorway, got a line directly on Leader, but the C4 goes out and he's not watching! Watching the IT connector instead. Leader gets GK the 4-2 half.
And BDS, so very close to pulling the exact same thing that we saw in the last round. But those minor adjustments from GK, and I'm really happy that you referenced that as well on their playbacks, because right there, it was not a whole sweeping change of how they played out that round. Extremely similar utility, put somebody downstairs to recognize what was happening with the roam game, or rather roam clear, and then address things accordingly for the map pressure. And that was the key factor there, especially for Hashom. His patience around that rotation for Connector was unprecedented.
And even then, if BDS maybe win that fight with Hashom, they're able to win that one. Maybe they end up winning the round, but it's still, GK are able to win those close fights with some of the best players in the world, Shaiko being one of them, but then also EFAC having a poor game so far. Bride, 0-5 at the moment. He's obviously not the one getting the kills, but some BDS players aren't showing up at the moment, whereas GK are also a little lopsided, but Hashom in particular is playing lights out.
Yeah, Hashom is looking so very solid right now. I mean, we're only halfway through this game. 6 rounds in, the guy's already got 9 kills. Truly impressive stuff, especially up against a team that is so unbelievably talented like BDS. And honestly, man, like, this just goes to show you how insane this major has been so far. Like, we don't even have a crowd yet, and we're having games like this.
Just makes you excited for when we do get a crowd, especially...
Tell me about it.
Especially if GK can keep making this run. I mean, guys, we might have one of the best storylines dare I say, in the past 3-4 years
of all
six,
time if they do. Yeah, if they get to like finals, like even if they don't win it, dude, for Leader and Noodle to join this team and then be playing like this up against a squad like BDS is actually just so insane.
And their path through Swiss so far, W7M, BDS. I mean, W7M were coming in cold yesterday. BDS had as good a warm-up as you could hope for in their game against SSG yesterday to restore confidence, to practice their play, and it worked out perfectly. But the attacks aren't certain just yet. GK are still, comparatively, especially the more inexperienced team, and Nighthaven being a large map, they've played default comfort maps like Clubhouse, where coordination is well known. Positions are instinctual almost, but Nighthaven, it's new and it's big. There's a lot you still need to find out, and players like EFAC, LickyFac down below with the pulse, constantly relaying intel to the defense for where GK are pushing from. It's just...
Bye-bye, Tricks. Sorry about that, my friend. And that's pulse play for you. That's exactly it. Hasn't changed in 8 years, and I highly doubt it changes in an additional 8. So, EFAC with a nice pickup, and that's what you're looking for when it comes to a map like this. You know, the Nighthaven Labs kind of reminds you a little bit of things like Consulate with the way that things get cleared out, and the way that you can have these big sweeping roams. So, BDS flexing their muscles on defense so far, giving GK a hard time. Havasham on this shield, trying their best to work in from the garage. Have the planter in tow as well. Noodle's going to take quite a bit of heat from the drone hull here. No more frag grenades for him to try and assist in clearing out a LEMS. And they really need to try and scoop out one portion of this site. That's their biggest issue right now. That's why they're at this roadblock. Nobody really giving them a look.
No, and Noodle, who wants to be that player to remove Renshiro on Aqua and add a second dimension to this attack, he's 1 HP. That's such an easy fight for Renshiro to win. The rest are stuck inside of IT, inside a garage. BDS had basically worked GK in the exact same position GK worked BDS in on the previous second floor attack. But now, it's a lot more difficult. Hasham hitting a big rotate, though. Moved over to Aqua to add that second dimension. Leader catches one in the sight, but only does a little bit of damage. Renshiro pushes up, though. That's what we were waiting for. Now Hasham's got to unshield, try to take the fight. Key falls down. It's an excellent defense for BDS so far that is only aging better and better as the seconds tick by. Leader found a bit of damage earlier, but 5 different players all trained on his position. It's about as flawless as you can get while still dropping a body.
That's a perfect round from BDS on defense. And, you know, just showcasing what Nighthaven is all about. We saw it from GK. We saw it from BDS. Really, really solid.
We do have Jesse on the line. 7 rounds in. Jesse, what are you feeling about watching this game?
You know, at first I was a little bit nervous, Carter, because this was a bit of a rocky first half, but I don't want the viewers at home to be too concerned for BDS, because when BDS played Nighthaven Labs in the EUL, they actually had a 6-0 defensive half. They were really, really strong on defense. Their rotation was basement into top floor into storage. And we've seen the top floor here. What really worked for BDS last time they played this map was they had this Shaiko LickyFac duo roam combo to really hold down the meeting hall connector side of the map, with Shaiko playing Legion and connector, and then we saw LickyFac down below on the Solus. Now, LickyFac this time playing a bit of the pulse, switched it up a little bit, but the idea of that strategy was still the same. I have to imagine BDS, they're still going to feel pretty comfortable on these defensive halves, and I think they're in a good spot to pull this game back.
Well, Jesse, to your point, we've got LickyFac on the Solus right now, so thank you very much, and let's take a look at round number 8 to see how BDS, with that in mind, start what might just be a comeback on the defensive side. The Shaiko, LickyFac duo roam. LickyFac certainly on their own with that Solus, but Shaiko on the Cade, alone on the bomb site. That's a switch up, ain't it?
Yeah, if you would have bet me money yesterday if Shaiko was going to play Kaid, I definitely would have taken that bet and 100% lost. So definitely see that one quite seldomly when it comes down to it. Usually see him on the more frag-centric characters, but that's perfectly okay. Doesn't mean that he can't land his shots here and play it off of the sight. So see how this goes for them. Is going to torch things out here. Smokes down. Oh, y'all. If you haven't seen this one in a while, welcome to it. He's going to torch the line and use these smokes on this side and see if there's anybody peeking this at all. And, well, that's Glaz's rifle for you. A little bit of recoil to that thing, especially with the suppressor on it, but he's going to tag up Shaiko. Bad news bears, though, is they now know about Glaz.
Indeed they do, and this will likely force a rotation from BDS. Maybe somebody pushing down the Aqua stairs, moving down below just to support a potential bomb site hit. Not giving up the roam entirely, but just to make sure that Shaiko has some support. Thankfully, though, this is a bit of a slow take from GK. It takes a lot of time to open up that hole in the wall. Oh! Key stepping on the C4 the moment it hits the ground. Opening pick going the way of BDS with a little effort from Shaiko.
You want to talk about timing. Unfortunate for him.
Doesn't get worse than that.
track stingers now to try and lock things up around the site. Either Hashom's gonna have to try and sit here and chill and see exactly what he can get done. Leader with a nice discovery here on the second level. So he's just trying his best to sweep out this mid floor. Does have the breaching charges, so he can assist with some verticality work. Where is the rest of the teeth of this offense? Look like we still have quite a few people around delivery. Saw the Brava across the map. I think that's Noodle working his way in from the garage angle. They have a good read on this Legion. It's going to be Alems over inside of storage right now. He does have the rotations though, so going to make it to where he can quickly make some adjustments around this mid-level, but Noodle, I don't think that he knows he's so very close, and he'll find him. Alem's actually almost with the flick there too, if you notice those shots coming back. Crazy from him, but even better from Noodle.
But key part, almost with the flick, almost with the win.
Horseshoes, hand grenades.
Exactly. GK now up 4-3, 4v3, but quite literally in terms of man advantage and round count. To try to make it 5-3, Shaiko and Renshiro both on 50 health, but no sight control for GK at the moment. So much of BDS also consolidated around the cargo stairs. There's going to be a lot of time spent from GK. I was going to say with the soft destruction, but Hashom has been on this glass for so long and finally finds someone rotating inside of the bomb site. This is a great advantage for GK, but they need to make sure they don't make any mistakes. 20 seconds left. When you are just now moving into the site, you can leave a lot of gaps, but they're getting so many kills, they're making up for it in spades. Brede knows someone has pushed into Animus now. That's the only 1v1 that seems to be going his way. Noodle gives a second, but gives no quarter. 5-3 for GK.
Oh, BDS. This is going to get somewhat serious here in a moment as we are hurtling towards our potential final round here. GK with 5 rounds, a 2-round gap on BDS, and a timeout being taken by BDS here, Carter. And yeah, I totally agree with you. I am not a big fan of people taking tech timeouts when the other team has 6 rounds. 5 feels like really the last, you know, point in time where you really want to cross that bridge. But either way, though, I think this is just a testament to how talented GK are. I mean, you guys heard it there first from Jesse Che Chick. BDS with a perfect defensive set when it came to their European debut of this map up against Heroic, and GK giving them enough pressure that it's forced the timeout.
Just a position that, I mean, once you're there, when you're facing that underdog, you're thinking to yourself, oh, I mean, we were even rationalizing, like, W7M, they're coming in cold, it's just a map. But if you're BDS, you're thinking, we're not going to let that happen.
No,
I mean,
this was the true test for me. This was. Yeah.
This was the true test, but if you're BDS, you're thinking, we're not going to let that happen. I mean, we're not going to make those same mistakes. We've seen them play now. We're not going to underestimate them. Then you always think to yourself, it's just some meta team. Like, we should be able to win, right?
That's the problem right there.
Exactly, but that's the mentality. This team can no longer be underestimated anymore. They've proven themselves with their win yesterday over W7M, with their #1 seed in play-ins, and now, even if they lose, a 5-7 loss to BDS, that's a quality win in my book if you can get that scoreline against BDS and make them shake.
That's some high-quality H2O right there, my friend.
Is.
And speaking of that, we'll continue on the references here because it looks like we're going to be moving somewhat aquatic on GK's side.
10 seconds
Got the Jackal moving in. We did have the Blitz there for just a split second, so I thought we were going to... Key, I love you so much. Oh, my... No! Go back!
Too late.
You're no
Beyond
fun.
the pale.
Dude, I was gonna invite him to the after party, but not anymore. Not anymore. Dude, I thought you were one of the cool kids.
Thatcher's fine, I guess.
I guess. I mean, if you want to be a loser, no.
Stay clear.
EMP's fantastic on this map, especially when you're trying to address things downstairs. You can get things going so very quick with the EMP radius nowadays, and they got the Selmas going as well. This low key might be a... Oh no, I'm gonna hold my breath on that one. It looked like we might have been going quick there just for a split second, Carter, because we were putting Selmas down so very quickly. But oh my, what do we got going on here on the mid floor?
Well, they break open the hatch while Hashom is standing on it to basically just not waste any time, and also maybe cover the sound cue of him dropping in case there's some player playing close inside a kitchen. Not many players around him, but there is someone relatively close by playing over inside the cargo area. Legion on the main stairs as well, or on the exo stairs, excuse me. They know someone's over there. Another drone flying in. Hashom has that for a fact now. But how aggressive is Renshiro going to get? Nade cooked. It flies out.
Nice.
And it just lands on the landing. Excellent bank shot by Hashom. Man advantage acquired for GK, but still needs some more control.
Really wanting to stand 10 toes on that stairwell, but not exactly the best bet, especially when you really don't have any utility to back yourself up. That's what leads to moments like this, and GK have already found the pick that they so desperately want for this opener. Now they can rotate back to their earlier efforts and try and get things to move in from delivery. Still have a couple of rotations to deal with up top. Have one over inside of Gen right now. It's Noodle working on this for the time being, but I think this is more than likely going to be a GK pressures downstairs, this guy roams, and Noodle kills him kind of situation.
Yeah, if Noodle plays patiently here. Oh, but the call goes out that there are EDDs on that door. And does Noodle relay his position? Leaky Fack is stalwart right now watching that door. A nuclear bomb could not distract this man from his task. But GK, a minute left. They want this. They want this 5v3. They see this roamer. One player over on connector side, the other coming in from assembly.
It's so impressive. Just their patience, their willingness to return to the drone game and see what they can get done. Especially when you're trying to address a map like this, Carter, as an IGL, you really want to make sure that you know what your head count is, especially for sight, because then you can do things like this. A huge find from Leader, a Lems. He's been able to sneak in behind the bomb chassis, but won't be able to find too much just yet. He's getting pressured from both sides. Let's see how this swing goes.
There we go. He's taking down Noodle. Trickst also 3v3. BDS clawing back as GK on this bottom floor take. Both rounds in a row have not left themselves a lot of time. Before they had a Shom relieving pressure. Now they lack that. And GK, they're starting to struggle, but Leader's in the spot he needs to be. Shom lethal onto Licky Fack. Alem just finds one, but it's not enough. He's got to hit the reload. And as the Finka surge goes out, GK explode on the match point. 3 rounds BDS need to stop GK from being on the precipice of greatness.
Trying to send the Frenchman back to Paris, man. That's crazy. This is unprecedented. I could have saw a world where we were going to OT, but I think BDS have vastly underestimated what GK are capable of in like a moment-to-moment basis. Their ability to make the play and find those critical shots is paramount to their success up against BDS. We've seen this before with BDS. When teams have the ability to fight back, the games get good. But right now, GK are doing so much more than that. They are dominating BDS at every single turn. Even in that round, BDS still had a moment where they could have been able to flip the script and bring this round back across the line. But GK had so many things in place, Carter. They had the entire site encompassed. They were using their own mirror windows against them. Truly incredible stuff as they were able to break down that entire map. Fantastic patience up top as well. Didn't really have to go for that clear or anything like that. Just keeping a proper mind and not doing too much. They're doing what is necessary.
Well, buckle in, folks. For
Tell me about it, right?
Win or lose, this game is going in the history books. As if GK win.
Did I wake up yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Can you pinch me?
I can.
Either way, whether GK, he did pinch me. I appreciate it. If GK win, I mean, that story speaks for itself. But even if they force the comeback from BDS and they lose 8-6, 8-7, the fact that it was that close in the first place is an immense, immense statement for GK's quality and what they are capable of in the server.
Yeah.
Back to that top floor attack, though, and thankfully for you, Noodle has stuck the blitz.
Attackers have located a bomb.
I can be a happy man once again. Now at this point, I mean, I might as well have like Hasham sign my forehead. This guy is going insane. Like, I'm never gonna wash it either. Just for the rest of my life. I'll get it tattooed. Full spiel.
Oh.
Looks like we might be popping off here soon. Yep, bullets in, and oh! Is anybody gonna pay attention? Razor Bloom right there.
Oh.
What a shot out of a Lems. One that was so desperately needed. If he was not paying attention, he was so unbelievably dead. GK. Now I've lost Noodle. They're going to have to try and pop off now. I mean, the jig is up. They've dealt some damage. Trix taking a little bit of damage. Key all over the place on this one. Trix has one. 3 versus 2. EFAC, Brede, what do you have?
Well, Leaky Fack still got some spark in him. It took a lot of his HP, but cut down to Shaw. Leader's got it too. Leaky Fack, the game is on the line here. It is you and only you to win.
He knows.
He's got the case in the bomb site. He knows where the diffuser is being planted, but Trix has put the bomb down. We're in a post plan, folks. The attack can now retreat, hold the passive angles. They've spotted Leaky Fack. They know his position. The Solus is intel too, but the attack has man advantage, and that is always going to be a looming thought in his head. The Solus has to get both of them, has to overperform, and then still defuse the bomb. He'll start to bait it out. Trix moves on in. He looks towards Jen instead. Trix pushes too far. Gun put down, leader. You just need just a little bit more. One more pull, and he smokes him! Major champs, no problem. Best fragger in the world, a paltry sum against Geekay, who are now 2-0 in the Swiss and might just be one of the best teams in Atlanta.
Yes, Carter. The Falcons may have soared pretty high for MENA and showed off what that region could do. But Geekay, this is a goddamn rocket ship, and we are soaring, we are flying, and this isn't too close to the sun. We're striking the moon, baby. BDS has a lot to consider after that game, because I don't think anybody thought that Geekay had a snowball's chance in hell to walk in here and put a score line like this, 7-3 up against BDS.
And not just 7-3 against BDS, not just on a map that BDS 7-2'd Heroic on, a team with international experience, a team with a pedigree, but a map that Geekay have not played up until this point. They have played 7 maps of their 10-0 scoreline so far. Number 8 is a map that just might be in their pool. This is a team with so little experience compared to BDS.
It's so crazy.
You can't just corner them in a veto strategy anymore.
Nope.
You've got to be worried about every map in the pool. This is public enemy number 1 right here.
Yeah. And the craziest thing is that they got 2 new additions, right? They got Leader and they have Noodle in from the EUL. Absolutely insane. It's just this story with this roster is so incredible.
And it's still being written. We've got Leader on the desk. You want to call Key? Let's head back to the analyst desk and hear Leader's immense thoughts after that victory.
Thanks, gents. Yeah, somehow these guys have managed to knock off 2 of the top contenders in the world as a MENA team and with a substitute. So why not get the substitute in real quick to talk about how this thing went down? Dude, we caught you up a couple days ago asking about how much time you had actually spent with this team prior to jumping in. Exactly how much time had you scrimmed with this roster before you subbed in?
I scrimmed about 3 maps.
About 3 maps, yeah. Okay. Who was it against?
BDS.
And what map was it?
Nighthaven.
So perfect storm, literally, for you guys.
Yeah. Like, it's been unreal. Like, everyone in the team, like, they play so well with my calling. It's like, it's really good, you know.
How does that work on your interaction? Are you doing a lot of calling in the team? And
yeah, like, before they didn't have an IGL, so they're just playing, like, this crazy playstyle manner, like, that we'd expect from those teams. But, like, with me coming in, I'm solely just, like, focusing on making sure everything gets done in the round and see, like, what the next step is, because that's what they couldn't identify before, like, the next step in the round to close out the rounds.
how motivated are you personally? So just a quick question about you personally, because obviously, you know, it didn't go too well at Koi and Heroic and EUL. But here you are at the major. You've beaten W7M, the major champions. You've beaten BDS, the Gamers 8 champions. How motivated are you personally for this?
I'm so motivated. Like, it's like the redemption of anything. Because on Na'Vi, obviously, I had a great stage, and everyone saw me as like this, like, you know, like EFAC. He came into EUL, he played very well, and here he is on like the best team in Europe. And it was kind of like that for me, like the expectation. But when I went to Koi and when I went to Heroic, it kind of like fell off.
Right, okay.
So it's like just getting back into it, you know.
Was there any personal one for you to specifically beat BDS, having played them in EUL prior? Was there any like little personal fire under your ass?
Yeah, because when we played them under Na'Vi, we got destroyed. That was like the only game we got destroyed. It was by BDS, so.
Oh, all right.
I actually heard a little rumor. I heard your team has been blacklisted by BDS in scrims because of how much you dominate them.
Oh.
Is that true?
Oh. I'm not too sure. Maybe.
I heard there was a little mental block in their mind playing against you guys.
Have like this thing that these guys are a scrim team, but they're showing that they're not a scrim team now, you know, like they're doing it in the game day. You saw Hashram yesterday against W7M hiding in kitchen. Yeah. You know, like no one does that. So.
Anything to say about the idea that, okay, you've beaten two really strong teams in a best-of-1 context. You're still going to have best-of-1s left to play, but what happens when this team actually gets into a best-of series that requires more than one map? You think that they're still going to be playing with the same fire?
For sure, yeah. Like, we can do the same on every map. Like, the play style is the key. It doesn't matter the map.
Jack, anything else?
Sorry?
Anything else?
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk to you about Hasham, actually. So he went off yesterday. He's gone off today. What's he like to play with as a player?
He's really good. Like, I tried to involve like 4 people in the push and then just let him do his own thing, you know. I let him find his own gaps because he knows best, you know. Yeah. So there's some clips coming in of him here. So I think it's just been, you know, incredible because, like, I suppose people in terms of, you know, like EU or even an international fan base, North Americans, Brazilians, won't know about some of these guys, you know, that play in the Saudi League and play in MENA. So what makes them so good? Are they just so confident? yeah, confidence is key. Like, their aim is crazy, and they're so confident with it.
Yeah.
They don't care who they're playing against. Like, you could be playing against Striker, you could be playing against KZ. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they still have the same confidence.
It's just like getting into a ranked game.
Yeah.
Last question before I let you go. You've beaten 2 world beaters at this point. You beat the current major champions. You beat the most recent Gamers 8, 2 years running Gamers 8 champions. Do you feel any pressure now at this point? Because you're top of the mountain with one team at the minute for undefeated teams, and that's G2. Yeah. What does that make you feel?
I mean, there's no pressure for us. Like, we came into this event like, I'm a substitute. You know, they just wanted to get out of the group and then just see where it goes from there. And we've taken out 2 of the best teams, so who knows what can happen next.
That's sweet. Anything else you want to say to the stream before we let you go, dude?
Thanks to the fans. Like, the MENA fans are crazy. Yeah, just thanks for your support.
All right, dude. Again, congratulations. That game was insane. We'll get Jesse back in here to talk about that one too, because we were trying to find. I mean, it was round after round after round of. It felt very systemic from BDS, and then every time we saw Geekay pop off, it was. This team is a joy to watch, dude. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great to watch. I think there are certainly some flaws. It wasn't easy. They can make it easier on themselves, but this is what's ingrained into them, right? It was the aggression in the early doors. They were so aggressive against BDS, getting those entry kills, but getting them in an early. Being explosive early on in the round when BDS were not expecting it. Now, there's a couple of times they gave it back because these guys, once they've got the kill, they kind of have this like hero play mentality where I'm going to get another one and another one and another one and don't stop. So sometimes it looks great when it works and doesn't look too great when it doesn't. But yeah, it's such a pleasure to watch them. They're so confident.
Yeah, and I think like we talked in the early game or in the in the pregame about how BDS did a great job yesterday about beating Space Station Gaming in that early game. I think the big difference between that match and this match is that one was on coming through Skyscraper, where it's very linear. They would go in through Exhibition, clear the top floor, and move on to the bottom floor. This is Nighthaven Labs. That's such a more difficult map to roam clear, and we saw them abusing that on the side of Geekay. They were all over the place on the roam. They were making so many good moves. Yeah, maybe a drone would be in. Maybe the drone would even find a player, but there's a third player, a fourth player, somebody else coming in for the roam to help out that one player. So I really like that aggressive play style from Geekay. Eventually, BDS maybe started to adapt a bit, go for some more direct takes, but even then, they couldn't find the solid rounds to get it consistently, and that first half just seemed out of reach.
And so everything now for Geekay from this point forward is always for promotion, because now they're at that 2-0 phase. For BDS, you go back to the drawing board a little bit because you still have some more opportunities, but you drop one map in a best-of-1 scenario. It's not really the end of the world, but think about what the magical run could be. It could be beating W7M, the current major champs. It could be beating BDS, the current Gamers 8 champions. And if, God forbid, somehow they draw G2 in that 2-0 game tomorrow, they could knock off the SI champs all at the same event.
And then 7 rounds away from main stage.
Yeah.
Well, not even just that, but like main stage, a MENA team. A team from a region, again playing with a sub, because both majors we've had a MENA team playing with a sub. If they make main stage, what does that say about this region?
All I'm saying is if you're seriously right now, you're fearing for your job a little bit because of how well these guys have been playing with Leader. Right now, Geekay Esports are the single greatest MENA team to ever exist, simply based on how far they've been able to get at an international tournament. Congratulations to them. For BDS, we'll see them both tomorrow, and we'll hop into Game 4 after a quick break. Don't go anywhere.